So hey, how's it going? I want to do a video showing you the poor man's way of painting little Hot Wheels or die-cast cars. This is done with RIT dye, and this is not a very good example because the RIT dye that I bought, well, the colors just weren't what I thought they were going to be. The red did okay, but the only thing they had for black was a color called graphite, and it just is not black. I thought it was going to be black, but it's more of a gray, and as you know, gray is a lighter color, so it didn't want to stick to the paint very well. So we're going to get started. First thing you want to do is you want to boil your water, or not boil. Boiling is 212 degrees. You want to get your water, just get a bowl, put it in the microwave, or you can do it on a pan, or you can do it in an electric kettle, which is what I used. You want to get your temperature up to about as close to 200 as possible, but your water's going to cool, of course. So I got it about 160, anywhere from 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you want to put your dye in, and you want to stir it up really good, and then drop your cars into the dye. Now the red, as I said, worked out pretty good. The graphite did not. I was hoping that it would turn a car black, but it wouldn't. I should have got some different colors, a blue perhaps, or maybe a different color, but you get what you get. And speaking of get what you get, this is not a scientific attempt or try. I promise you, you will not get the same color. You will not get the color that you want. You might get close, but you will not get the same color that you want. As you can see, this Hot Wheel that I put in there was white. The graphite is turning it to almost a silver. Depending on the color of the Hot Wheel will be the color that you get. Using a black Hot Wheel or a blue Hot Wheel, a Hot Wheel of dark color, a lighter color dye is not going to take. And that's why you'll see as the video goes on, the darker colored Hot Wheels did not turn out right. They did change colors, but not to an extreme. One thing that is good about dyeing your Hot Wheels versus painting your Hot Wheels is if you paint your Hot Wheels, you have to strip the paint off of the car first, and then just like in a normal car, you would have to put primer on it because it is bare metal, and then of course you'd have to paint, and then you're stuck with just a plain colored car. You would paint over the they're not stickers, they're tampos or the painted pinstripes that are on the car. However, if you use dye, the stickers or tampos, the striping, whatever terminology you want to use, stays on the car. It does tint it just a little, but it still leaves the striping on the car. The other thing that dyeing does not do is you don't have to take the car apart. It does not dye the chrome pieces. So you still have all your little painted headlights, tail lights, license plates, and you also don't lose any of your chrome paint because the dye will not adhere to the chrome. I'm going to go ahead and damp this car down now. It's turned as much as it's going to turn. The hotter your water, if you can keep adding hot water to your bowl, and the longer you leave your car in there, the more it will turn. However, as you can see, graphite on a white car turns it gold, which I actually like that color on that car. So I think we're going to leave it just as it is, and as you can see, the headlights and tail lights are still painted. Car rolls just fine. Now, it was a yellow vehicle that I put into the red dye, and we're going to take it out and see. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a yellow one in there too, but that's the white vehicle that I put in there. And as you can see, it has turned it pink. Now, I'm not saying that if I would have left it longer, it would have turned a lot more red. Is that even a word? It would have turned a darker shade of red. However, I don't think you would have been able to see the tampos, the stripes on the car as well. So I just decided to stay with the pink. I kind of like it. And these cars, you have to check them, but they're in there for about 15-20 minutes at a time. It's just, what color do you want the car? You leave it in there, and if you leave it in there and you see it's not changing, then it's probably not going to change. So you might as well take it on out. This is another yellowish type vehicle. I've already figured out that the graphite color is probably not going to work, so we're just going to go with the red. One thing to remember too, and I've learned this the hard way, if you get your water too hot, if you get it all the way to boiling, and put a car in there, or even if it's really close to boiling, you will melt the plastic. I have never melted the plastic on the bottom of the car, but the windshield's glass in the car, whether it's the back windshield or the front windshield, is a really thin plastic, and I have melted some of those. So you want to, I would not suggest heating the car up to boiling point. You want to keep your water below a boil, but still hot enough to make the dye stick to the car. And remember, the lighter the original paint color on the car and the darker the dye, the better it will adhere to the car. Like I said, I thought this graphite would end up being black, and black would have taken to a lighter color car. But with it being graphite, it's just not taking, so I should have went with a different color. And I would have scrapped the video, except for the red actually did as it was intended to do. My water is cooling off, so I'm adding a little bit of more hot water to the dye. Trying to keep from making messes here. It's just like dyeing Easter eggs. I've never tried to dye cars with Easter egg dye. This is RIT dye is used in dyeing clothing, but I'm assuming it's the same purpose. Now this yellow car and this blue car that I tried to put into the graphite just did not work out at all. So I had an idea of going ahead and putting them as you can see, that's the yellow on the bottom that the car was, and now it's kind of turned to a ugly mustard color. And I thought, well, I wonder what would happen if I put these in the red dye. So that's what we're going to try. We're just going to stick them in the red dye and see if we can get them to turn to a different color. Because it seems every car, unless it's white, not seem to be working in the graphite. I also suggest you use better equipment. My tongs not that great. You can get an idea of what something might come out as. If you put a yellow car in red dye, well, you would think it would come out orange. And it does. However, it's the shade of orange that you're not quite sure of. I've used this technique with red, blue, and I want to say green dye before, a few years back, and all the cars did turn. This is actually the first time of me using the graphite color, and like I said, I'm just not crazy about that graphite color. I wished I would have went with a blue or maybe a green just to show a difference. But I think the red actually does work out in this video as intended. Gives you an idea. The gold car that I put in the graphite, it still just isn't turning. However, the white one is starting to show signs of silver. And I do feel like that we'll come back down the road and make another video of this with maybe 2 or 3 different dyes. It's one of those things where you live and learn, you know. It is interesting to see what kind of different variations you can get from using different colored dyes. And I know now not to buy graphite. The dark blue car has turned a shade, I don't know what you would call it, reddish, maybe purple, I don't know. Now, the yellow car has just turned into an ugly brown car. I'm just trying to salvage something out of it now, and it's just not going to happen. So these cars will probably be done the hard way or the long way. Once they dry good, I will probably just go ahead and maybe I'll do a video on how to strip one down and paint it. And we'll start with these cars, considering the dye didn't turn out very good on those colors. But as you can see, the pink and the orange turned out great. And the graphite on a white vehicle, I like the looks of. But on a darker color car, graphite, just no good. So we're probably about to wrap this video up. Like I said, I hope this video helps you out if you're trying to dye cars. Like I said, it's trial and error depending on the colors you use. I do not suggest using graphite. However, dyeing vehicles is the easiest and quickest way to change the colors of your cars, because you do get to keep all the little tampos of the headlights, taillights, stripes, to where you would have to sand and strip all that stuff off if you're going to use rattle can or airbrush paint. Remember, keep your water temperature above 160. Do not put it into anywhere close to 210. Anything above 200, you're taking a chance on melting your plastic windshields. So remember that. Learn from my mistakes. Do not do that. And also remember, you get what you get. It's not a science. You never know, depending on the color of the car, what it's going to turn out whenever you put it into a colored dye. The longer you leave it, the darker shade it should be. But your results will vary. Also use lots of paper towels, because it does tend to get messy. I think the pink car turned out pretty good. I actually really like that. I wished it would have been a lot darker shade of red, but it didn't seem to be getting any darker the longer I left it. That's the color it wanted to be. you go. Look, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. Share it if you want to. I wished it would have turned out a little bit different. As you can see, the yellow car has turned really brown, which isn't horrible, but the yellow plastic base, ooh, that's ugly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video.